Hello students. So till now we have completed our 5 chapters of class 6 subject science NCERT. So before starting our next chapter, in this video we are going to study the summary of this 5 chapter. So the first chapter we had seen in our class 6, that is chapter number 1, food, where does it come from? So in this chapter we had seen that food is a substance eaten by living beings to get energy. Then after we had seen that food provides us energy to work, grow and remain healthy and protect our body against various disease and infections. Then we had seen main sources of our food. So the main sources of our food are plants and animals, and plants are the sources of food like pulses, cereals, vegetables and fruits. Then we had seen that fruits and many vegetables are eaten as a raw, like tomato, cucumber, carrot, etc. And food items such as milk, eggs, meat, chicken, fish, beef, etc. come from animal. Then we had seen that water and salt used in our food are neither plant products nor animal products. And we cook the food and eat it. We cook different dishes using raw ingredients. Example, we prepare roti, puri, bhakri, bread, laddus, etc. from the wheat flour. And some food items are made with many ingredients. Example of that is to prepare vegetable curry, we need different kinds of vegetables, salt, spices, oil, ghee or water, etc. And to cook rice, we need rice grains and water. So then after we had seen that there is a variation in the food eaten in different regions of India, and different creatures eat different types of food. We do not eat the same food daily. Instead of that, we eat different food items. And on the basis of their food habits, animals are divided into 3 categories, that is herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. So in that we had seen that the animals that eat only plants or plant products are called herbivores. The animals that eat other animals or animal products are called carnivores. And the animals that eat both plants and animals are called omnivores. So these are the things we had seen in this chapter. So here the summary of this chapter is given to you. So there is as we had seen, there is a lot of variation in the food eaten in the different regions of India. And the main sources of our food are plants and animals. The animals which eat only plants are called herbivores. So these are the 3 different types of animals. The animals which eat only animals are called carnivores, and the animals which eat both plants as well as other animals are called omnivores. So these are the different things we had seen in this first chapter. The next chapter we had seen, that is chapter number 2, components of food. So in this chapter we had seen that the edible substance which we eat to obtain energy for growth, repair and maintenance of our body and to fight against occurrence of disease is called food. And each food items of our meal is made up of one or more than one ingredients. And these ingredients contain some components that are needed by our body for its growth, wear and tear. And these components are called nutrients. The major nutrients in our food are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, minerals and vitamins. And in addition, the food also contains dietary fibers and water. With some simple methods, we can taste whether cooked food or a raw ingredient contains one or more of these nutrients like carbohydrates, proteins and fats. The foods from which we get these nutrients are called sources of nutrients. In that, grains are the sources of carbohydrates, pulses, eggs and milk are the sources of proteins, nuts, milk and eggs are the sources of fats, and vegetables and fruits are the sources of vitamins and minerals. Then we had seen the functions of various nutrients. So the carbohydrates mainly provide energy to our body. Then after we had seen function of fats. So fats provide energy and heat to the body. The protein are needed for the growth and maintenance of the body, and vitamins help in protecting our body against disease. In the function of minerals, we had seen that our bones, teeth, blood, etc. contain different minerals, and minerals are necessary for the growth and maintenance of the body. The dietary fibers add bulk to the food and help our body to get rid of undigested food. And water helps our body to absorb nutrients from the food. So these are the functions of various nutrients. Then we had seen balanced diet. So balanced diet is a diet which provides us with all the nutrients our body needs in the right quantity, along with the adequate amount of roughage and water. And high proportion of fat in food gives rise to obesity, that we had also seen. And then after we had seen deficiency disease. So deficiency of one or more nutrients in our food for a long time may cause certain disease or disorder known as the deficiency disease, like scurvy, beriberi, rickets and loss of vision are some diseases caused by the deficiency of vitamins. Whereas bone and tooth decay, goiter, anemia are caused by the deficiency of minerals. So these are the different things we had seen in the chapter 2, and summary is given here that the major nutrients in our food are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. And in addition, food also provides or contains rough dietary fibers, that is roughage or water and water. Carbohydrates and fats mainly provide energy to the body, and proteins and minerals are needed for the growth and maintenance of our body, and vitamins help in our protecting our body from the disease. And balanced diet provide all the nutrients that our body needs in the right amount and along with the adequate amount of roughage and water. And deficiency of one or more nutrients in our food for a longer time may cause certain disease or disorder. Now next chapter is chapter number 3, fiber to fabric. So in this chapter we had seen that fabric means cloth, and fabrics made up of yarns, and yarns are further made up of fibers. And there are made mainly two types of fibers, that is natural fibers and synthetic fibers. We had seen the natural fibers and the examples of natural fibers, that we are getting it from the plants and animals. So there are main two type of natural fibers, that is plant fibers and animal fibers. Other than that, we had also seen the synthetic or artificial fibers. So the fibers which are made up of or made by man from the chemical substance are called synthetic fibers. In that we had seen example, nylon, polyester are the examples of synthetic fiber. And then after we had seen natural fiber is a cotton fiber. So it is also known as the cotton wool and most widely used plant fiber. And it is grown in the places that have black soil and warm climate. Then how we can get this cotton fiber, that whole process we had seen. And the next fiber, natural fiber we had seen, that is jute. So jute fiber is obtained from the stem of a jute plant. So then after we had seen the process by which we are getting this jute fiber. So these are the things we had seen in this chapter. Here the summary is given to you. So there is a variety of clothing materials or fabrics such as cotton, silk, wool and polyester. These are the different types of fibers, and fabrics are made up of yarns, which is in turn are made up of fibers. And fibers are either natural or synthetic. Cotton, wool, silk and jute are some of the examples of natural fibers, while nylon and polyester are some of the examples of synthetic fibers. Then we had seen that fibers like cotton and jute are obtained from plants. And the process of making yarn from fiber is called spinning. And at last we had seen that fabric from yarns is made by weaving and knitting. So these are the different things we had seen in this chapter. Next chapter, our chapter number 4, that is sorting materials into groups. In this chapter, we had seen that anything that has mass and occupies space is called matter, and the matter used in making an object is called material. And the example we had also seen that in wooden chair is an object and wood is the material. Then after we had seen that there are large variety of materials around us, and these materials are classified into different categories according to their properties. And these objects are sorted on the basis of the properties like appearance, hardness, solubility, that floatingness and transparency. So according to appearance, the objects are divided into shiny objects and non-shiny objects. According to hardness, they are divided into soft and hard objects. According to solubility, they are divided into soluble and insoluble objects. And according to floatiness, that is floating, they are divided into the objects that float on water or sink in water. And according to transparency, they are divided into transparent, opaque and translucent objects. Here the summary is given to you that objects around us are made up of large variety of materials, and a given material could be used to make a large number of objects. And it is also possible that an object could be made up of a single material or of many different types of materials. And the different types of materials have the different properties. Some materials are shiny in appearance, while others are not, as we had seen. Some are rough and some are smooth. Similarly, some materials are hard, whereas some materials are soft. So some materials are soluble in water, whereas some other are insoluble. Some materials such as glass are transparent, through which you can see, and some others such as wood and metals are opaque, and some materials are translucent. The materials are grouped together on the basis of similarities and differences in their properties. And the things are grouped together for the convenience and to study their properties. So, this is the things we had seen in the chapter number 4, that is sorting materials into groups. Next chapter is chapter number 5, separation of substance. In this chapter, we had seen that a mixture is made up of two or more than two components, and this component can be either in solid, liquid or gaseous. Then we had seen what is separation. So the process of separating components of a mixture is called separation, and there are many methods to separate components from a mixtures like hand picking, threshing, winnowing, sieving, sedimentation, decantation, filtration, evaporation, condensation. So these are some of the common methods used to separate substance from their mixtures. So we had seen these methods in detail, and then after we had seen what is saturated solution. So solution is said to be saturated if it cannot dissolve more of the dissolved substance in it at the given temperature. And then after at the end we had seen how we can make this saturated solution. So now let me see the summary of this chapter. So hand picking, winnowing, sieving, sedimentation, decantation and filtration are some of the methods of separating substance from their mixtures. These are the examples of some of the methods for the separation of components from a mixture. Husk and stones could be separated from grains by the hand picking method. Then husk is separated from heavier seeds of grain by winnowing method, and difference in the size of the particles in a mixture, we can use this difference to separate them by the process of sieving and filtration. And in a mixture of sand and water, the heavier sand particles settle down at the bottom of the beaker and the water can be poured and can be separated by the method of decantation. Then we had seen that filtration can be used to separate components of a mixture of an insoluble solid and a liquid. Then we had seen that evaporation is the process in which a liquid gets converted into its vapor, and evaporation can be used to separate solid dissolved in a liquid. A saturated solution is one in which no more of the substance can be dissolved, and more of a substance can be dissolved in a solution by heating that solution, and water dissolves different amounts of soluble substance in this solution. So these are the things we had seen up to the chapter number 5. In the next video we will start our next chapter, chapter number 6. Thank you.